Okay, so today let's talk about why it's hard, if you don't have a bike already, it's hard for you to get a bike. Okay, so the 3 reasons why it's tough for you to get a bike right now, okay? A, there's a shortage, obviously, which is tough to get anything of a lot of stuff, but specifically there's a shortage of rubber and aluminum. Now, rubber and aluminum are very important on a bike, obviously, because the tires are made out of rubber, and the frames are usually made out of aluminum. And the bikes that are short are bikes that cost anywhere from $450 up to about $1,200, and those are usually made out of aluminum. Now that's in a bike shop. I mean, if you went to Target, all those are made out of aluminum too, sometimes steel, but it's not a high quality steel like what we would sell at a bike shop. They're having tough times getting stuff too, but they just have a lot of buying power like the big guys. So, and their components are a little different too compared to like what you would buy at a bike shop. So the second thing is there's a high demand, and the reason there's a high demand, obviously we had coronavirus and have coronavirus still and are still dealing with the implications of that. But what happened is they announced here in the United States that you could work out outside, and if you were alone, and you could go on bike rides and run and everything. So, and if you were with the people that you lived with, that was okay. So when they announced that, instantaneously everybody started trying to find a bike. At the same time they announced that, pretty close to, they gave everybody that stimulus check that we got for $900 if you were under a certain income. People could walk into a bike shop and spend, $500, $600 on a bike and then still have some money left over, basically. So that's what they did, and all the bikes left. I ran out of bikes in May of 2020, May 27th of 2020. That's the day I ran out of bikes. I had no more bikes in my store. We just did repairs from then on out, and we're just now getting them back in. Okay, so the big thing too, okay, remember, these bikes have to be made. They're not made yet. They're literally pieces of metal, and there's roughly 200 pieces that make up a bicycle. And if you can't get one of those parts, that bicycle is worthless because it's not a functioning bike. So there's a lot of things that could go short, and the things that are going short: tires, aluminum, so they make all the parts out of aluminum, they make the frames out of aluminum, so they have to build those, and then they have to ship them over here. Now, my bikes, the brand I sell, are Giant, Kona, Santa Cruz, and Surly. All those are either made in Cambodia, Taiwan, or China. Let me explain what it takes to get a bicycle from Taiwan or China to the United States, and specifically to Andy's Bike Shop in Cedar Falls, Iowa at 100 East 2nd Street, Suite 105. This is what it takes to get there. Ready? I'm going to draw it for you. This is China, that's Taiwan, all the way over here, that's the US and Canada. Sorry Canada, you kind of got cut off. But to make my point, also, let's say that's California, okay? And then this right here, that's Long Beach Port. Let's say that our factory is right here, and we'll say right here. They have to be loaded onto the ship over here, transported all the way back across to the US. Your bikes are waiting here in a container. They can wait up to 6 weeks here. Then they have to go from here. They make a long voyage this way. All right, and then they do a little swirly here, right here, bam. This takes anywhere from 2 weeks to 4 weeks. 2 to 4 weeks that takes. They can wait here up to 6 weeks. And the waiting is just them getting into a container or to be loaded onto the ship so they can make this 2 to 4 week voyage. Now this is a different situation, okay? Now they have to be unloaded. Unload, Right now, they just sit in port. They're at anchor for anywhere up to 7.6 days. At anchor means they're waiting to go to berth, which means when they come into here, they're at berth when they're being unloaded. So they're at anchor for anywhere up to 7.6 days right now, as of January. And there's about 40 ships out in here somewhere. I've heard anywhere from 40 to 2,000. I think 40 is the most accurate. That's what Wall Street Journal said. Then it takes anywhere from 1 to 3 days to unload. Let's turn back around over here. That's 2 months, right? Let's say 2-month average. Then we come over here and we're waiting a week to be unloaded, then another day or two to get unloaded for sure, and then on U.S. soil. Now they have to go through customs and everything. I don't know how long that takes. Let's say 3 days. Giant's headquarters is in Long Beach, California. Their U.S. headquarters. Now, from here, they're distributed to different warehouses. There's 3 warehouses that they send these bikes to. Now, let's look at that. Giant headquarters, Chicago. All right. So there's a warehouse here, a warehouse in Chicago, and then a warehouse over on the East Coast. Now, they call these Warehouse West, Warehouse Central, Warehouse East. All right. So they come into port, they go to Giant. From Giant, now what they have to do, in a normal year, here's what would happen. They would come into port, go to Giant's warehouse. From Giant's warehouse, they would disperse them to their separate warehouses, okay? So they'd keep some in Warehouse West. They'd send some over here, and they'd send some here, okay? And then they distribute these to their dealers in different locations. I can order from any of these warehouses. I mainly order from Chicago, though, because it only takes 2 days to get to me. This takes sometimes 4. That takes 3 over in the East warehouse. Gold is what usually happens. Silver, this is what's happening right now. They're coming into port late, right? And they're coming into the warehouse. Then from here, these guys in the West warehouse are stacking them onto pallets, and then they ship from this warehouse directly to the shop. So I have 12 bikes being stacked on a pallet right now, and they're coming directly to Cedar Falls, Iowa, where I am located. Now, I apologize, Iowa got out of hand. It's not that big. That's Minnesota, just for scale. It's probably that big. But Iowa got out of hand on me. So usually I would order from here. In an ideal world, I would order from Chicago, and it would come right to there. Nope, not this year. It's this. This is the way it has to be, okay? And I'm only allotted what I get. What is that? I only get a certain amount. I ordered more. I might not get all those, though. Just because of how confusing this is. And that's what it takes to get to the shop. So, you can see why there's a shortage. It takes a lot of time. It's not an easy thing to do. Now, they're doing the best they can, and I applaud them for that, but the other problem is that they haven't really ramped up production, and that's because they don't know how long this is going to last. Let's say they ramp production up and they make, enough to fulfill the demand right now. Well, then it all goes away. Then what do? Then they're just stuck with a bunch of bikes that they overproduced, and they won't make any money. So it's a fine line. The only comparable time that this has ever happened, mind you, I've been in the bike business for 13 years almost. Yeah, 13 years. My head mechanic, Guitar Ted, Mark Stevenson, he's been in it for about 23 years. And the only thing we can compare this to is the 70s bike boom, when everyone needed a bike and they wanted a bike and they had to have a bike. That's really the only other bike boom we've ever had. And we weren't around during that. We don't know what happened, but we hear stories that it's very similar to this. Parts shortages, bike shortages. I mean, you can make a bunch of money, but you can't get the bikes, so you can't make a bunch of money. So you're just kind of sitting here waiting. That's what we're doing, sitting waiting. When we get 12 in, we'll sell them in a week, and then we get another 12 in 2 weeks. So that's the game we play. That's what we're gonna do. please check out ridinggravel.com and subscribe to the YouTube channel there. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. You can check out our podcast, Riding Gravel Radio Ranch, there, where we talk about gravel bikes, gravel specific products, clothes, handlebars, anything and everything that we can review. We interview a bunch of people, race directors too, so that's fun. Follow us on Instagram at Shop Andy's Bikes, and then you can also follow us on our website at www.shopandysbikes.com. Hopefully this explained a lot of questions for you guys, but if not, let me know. Sorry about my drawing. I'm a bike mechanic, I'm a bike shop owner, I'm not an artist. I failed art class probably. Yeah, I definitely failed art class, but hey, we live and we learn. See you next time. Everybody have a fantastic day. See ya.